watching self-improvement videos becomes mental masturbation. I think there's only one tried and true single indicator that can tell that you're not ready for a relationship. This one question was the reason I was depressed for so long. One thing that made me stop wanting to end my life is January of this year. I was extremely insecure with my masculinity, with my pride of myself as a person, and most importantly, with making these self-improvement videos. And I know I rip on the self-improvement creators all the time, the NoFap, the red pillars, but through the good and the bad, these videos are what introduced me to becoming more self-aware, to learning more about self-improvement, and have just genuinely fucking saved my life, man. I posted my first ever self-improvement Q&A on Instagram around that time, and I was so scared, being like, oh Jesus Christ, like what do I have to offer to people? I'm not like 35-year-old millionaire, I don't know this. But the questions that I got about young men being in these places in their life that were similar to what I was going through, and us just sharing the experience and sharing advice and tips, without those simple 15-second answers on Instagram, I would have never gone to the point to make these videos. And now to this day, out of all the other work and channels that I do, this is the most fulfilling thing in my life. This brings me the most passion, the most purpose, and I am just so grateful to be in a position where I'm able to share these thoughts that run through my head 24/7, because I genuinely fucking love this stuff. So today, for the first time since starting this channel, I asked on Instagram again for some self-improvement questions, and I said we were gonna answer it on this YouTube channel. So I picked some of the top 5 ones. We're gonna go through, there's no scripting, I didn't plan anything. I barely even read what these questions are, and you're just gonna get my unfiltered thoughts, answers about some of these questions. What does self-improvement mean to you personally, and how do you deal with the relapses? Every single conversation I have with people, the ones that I truly remember, that I care about, I noticed that I'm always trying to spin the conversation into some self-improvement, mental health, human psychology topic. And by the end of it, I'm asking whoever I'm talking with, like, what's your deepest childhood trauma? And I'm trying to figure out what makes that person tick. Why do they act like how they are? I've always kind of thought like this my whole life. I think as humans, our purpose and what we get attached to in life come from the deepest, oldest experiences of our childhood self throughout our life, the things that have affected us the most emotionally. And I think for so long in my life, I had such a void of not loving myself, being depressed, of not understanding why I wasn't able to wake up, even though I had a roof over my head, food on a plate, people that love me, why I wasn't able to wake up and just be happy. And when I learned about self-improvement, it was the first time in my life I got the answers. I learned about the delayed gratification and the dopamine fluctuations and attachment styles and discipline and masculinity. And then I started to form my own opinions about it. And it just simply saved my life and gave me a purpose that was beyond benching 405. A purpose beyond doing this accomplishment, achieving this goal. It was just the purpose of me, the purpose of myself. And I think that's why so many men that are lost, that are broken, attached to self-improvement too, is because for the first time in a lot of our lives, we can relate to other people that go through these tough times, and we learn eventually that the purpose has always just been us and improving us. And I think men love progress, we love purpose. Every human loves progress and purpose. So of course it hurts when you relapse on these things that you thought you could have never relapsed on, or you learn that if you relapse on porn or on just being lazy, on masturbation, that you failed your self-improvement journey. But because the purpose is ourself, the person in the mirror is going to be the only person that is with you till you die. Everybody else will come and go except for you. That just the knowledge that when we relapse, although it sucks, it's part of life. And everybody else in the self-improvement space, they might disagree and they would be like, Damo's soft, he's a piece of shit. I'm in this game for the rest of my life, and I hope you are too, to just keep getting better. And getting better has so many different looks to it, whether that's physical, mental, or just internally becoming a better person. What I think it is we are always trying to get closer and closer to the best version, the most authentic, real version of ourselves. And that relapse is you right now. But just the knowledge that if you stay on this journey, then 5 years, 10 years, that won't happen, because you will just be in so much of a better version of yourself. That's the best thing you can do. Don't hate yourself for the relapses. Easier said than done. Just accept that it happened and know that you are in this game for the rest of your life, and just keep fucking going. How do you know you're not ready for a relationship? I think there's only one tried and true single indicator that can tell that you're not ready for a relationship. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's if you don't love yourself first. Every single time I've been in a relationship and it's failed, or I wasn't fulfilled in that relationship, or when the relationship ended, I put so much importance on that relationship that it drove me insane. It drove me so depressed that just one girl out of 3.5 billion left my life. It made me feel like the world was ending, was because at the core foundation, I wasn't happy with myself. And I think what a lot of us get wrong, and we learn this through growing up with these Hollywood movies, or maybe what we were taught in school or by friends about love and attachment. I used to think that having a girlfriend, having a relationship was to fill the part of me that needs a relationship, because everybody needs one. But when I shifted my mind to think that a relationship is supposed to be an addition to your life, it became so much better. So the question is, how do you build this self-love? Well, I think self-love, especially to a man, comes from a daily resume, meaning things that you do every single day, whether big or small, that truly make you proud of yourself. What do those consist of? 1, tough fucking shit. I think you have to do something that is just slightly beyond your comfort level every single day. And I'm not saying go run a marathon, but if you don't want to go run the mile, go run the mile. If you don't want to spend an hour working on your business, but you know you have time, go work on your business for an hour. Something that you know you can physically do that's just slightly above your edge, and just doing that adds up rapport. The next part of that is setting big goals that might feel a little bit unachievable now and accomplishing them. One of the best feelings I've ever had came last night. Was just celebrating my girlfriend's birthday, and I remember she was watching some of my old YouTube videos of all the powerlifting competitions I did, and looking at her face and like seeing her eyes light up of how like proud of me she was, and like the love that she had for me. That these are like the under 18 like fucking bullshit championships of my fucking city. It's not important to the grand scheme of the world, but doing things that have a pretty big importance to you, training for them, whatever that is in your life, and accomplishing these things and consistently over and over in your life, making big goals and getting to that purpose and getting to that goal and accomplishing it adds up so much value and internal self-love as a man. Sometimes now I'll look back and I'll just journal the things that I'm proud of myself about, and that helps so much build up that self-love and that self-confidence, and reminds yourself that, yo, I'm not just a piece of shit. And knowing that it's gonna be tough, but you will accomplish them. You can physically write it out or just reminding yourself of them. Those are the things that I think, especially for a guy, give you self-love. As a guy who grew up unloved, how do I start opening myself up emotionally to others who I love? So this is probably my favorite question that I got, because the thing that I care about the most is the concept of attachment styles and attachment theory, how as children from the ages of 0 to 7, before our brains are fully formed, our experiences and how we are loved by our parents impact how we have relationships, have attachment to people for the rest of our life, not just sexual partners, but our friends, our coworkers, our colleagues. How you were loved as a child makes you who you are today, and will give you some of the best experiences, but also some of the hardest insecurities and problems for you to get over. So a really good analogy for this is, whatever your native language is, can you describe to me how you learned how to speak? And most of the time, people will say, I have no idea. My parents or the people around me just spoke that language and I just picked it up. If you learn a second language, like when I was learning Chinese, it was not my first language. I remember actively trying to learn it. But for English, it just came naturally because everyone around me was speaking it. And that's the exact same thing to love and attachment. How your parents, your guardians, the people around you at a very young age especially, what you see is subconsciously felt, and that is what your child brain perceives to be real and perceives to be right. So for example, if you grew up in a household where you were getting physically abused all the time, where you felt unloved, there was no consistency in how your parents loved you, although logically you know that that's not right and that's not what love is supposed to be, and you grow up and even though you see your friends' parents or other relationships that are more healthy, you were always going to have this really deep subconscious belief that that abuse, that toxicity is what love should be. Your parents or your guardians are like the closest relationship, familial feeling to you, and that feeling is what your brain is gonna perceive as what love is. So, as this young man said, he wasn't treated with a lot of love as a child. It is natural to not want to give a lot of love out to other people. as if it was a different language. If you just learned English, it's extremely hard for you to be 15, 16, 20, 30 years old and relearn a whole different language, because love and attachment is a language. So it is okay that you haven't been able, keyword being able, to give out the love that you feel like other people deserve. So genuinely researching, reprogramming the brain, and learning a new language of love, of attachment, is the first and most important step. One of the best books I would refer anybody to read who's really interested in this stuff is called Attached by, I don't know who the fuck wrote this, but it's a ton of case studies about the science of love and attachment and relationships. And you can apply these lessons to not only your intimate sexual relationships, but how you treat friends, colleagues, parents for the rest of your life. So that's one of the best books. And also, whether you're trying to cure an addiction or you're trying to get over being depressed, it's a constant repetition of pattern of doing the thing that you know is right. So you logically right now know that not giving these people love is not right, and it doesn't make you feel good, but subconsciously there's a pull in you to keep doing it because that's what you expected. So just breaking out of that pattern, and before you feel the urge to not be loved, or you feel this urge come up to whoever it is, your parents, your girlfriend, your best homies, to give them that love and give them that appreciation, there's going to be this urge to give it. But then because of what you experienced as a child, there's going to be something that's going to suppress it down and say, no, I can't do this because this isn't what love is. You might even get these thoughts that if I show appreciation, if I give this love to this person, they're going to leave me, because maybe that's what happened with your parents. Or if I give this love to this person, they're going to think it's fake, because when your parents gave you love, on the very little time that they give you love, felt very fake to you. So just being conscious of it and breaking past it and going, no, these are just thoughts. This is just linked to my childhood trauma. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give that love, and breaking that pattern is one of the best ways to do it. An example is with my girlfriend. The hardest part of our relationship for me to get over was to be able to open up and give her love. And in the relationship I always refer back to in these videos, that girl that I absolutely loved since day one, I tried to give her love. She would always resist it and always push it away, which made my brain correlate to any woman. One, it helped a lot that my girlfriend is a very logical and reassuring person, and she's telling me, she's like, you're just being an idiot. And I just repetitively told my brain, like, no, this is stupid. She's my girlfriend. I'm allowed to tell her I appreciate her and I love her. And one of the best things I learned too from another book, The Way of the Superior Man, is a good way to treat the woman that you love, like the best way, because, you know, we talk about like women are very emotional creatures, but I think this is a good thing to do for anybody, is to show your woman love at every microsecond. So I made it a point that every microsecond, no matter if we're arguing about something, because this is a partner, this is somebody that I want to get married to one day possibly, I'm gonna show her love in every single microsecond. And it just became a challenge to me, and I kept doing it, and eventually I got to a point now where there's almost zero insecurity in me to give her love, give her appreciation, and if anything, it makes me feel like a better man. It makes me feel more of a man. It's strengthened our relationship so much to the point where I almost never have negative thoughts of thinking that she's gonna receive my love and hate it. It makes me feel so proud of myself as a man. So if you don't do this, you're gonna spend the rest of your life never learning this skill, and you're gonna live a very unfulfilled, unloved life, because the only way to receive true love from other people is to be able to give it out. Okay, this is a heavy one. How do I make it so I don't want to kill myself? And I know there's a whole internet culture meme of kill myself, oh, it's so funny. And I used to make these jokes all the time, but seriously, at the core of this, whoever asked this, if you're watching, whether this was a joke or not, I understand, because there are hundreds, thousands, if not millions of men, people out there that genuinely are so ashamed of themselves and so disliking of their own life that they would rather go end what is the most precious gift to you in your world, your life, right now, than to try and fix it and continue. And I'll tell you right now, most of the time, it is not your fault. As I said in the beginning, the way that we were brought up, especially at our youngest years, will shape so much of how we think about the world and other people. So if you were abused when you're younger, if you were just abused by the world, you were shown that nothing you want to do can be accomplished and everyone's putting you down, of course you're going to develop a terrible mindset. This is going to be tough to hear, but I used to think like this all the fucking time. And the one thing that made me stop wanting to end my life was being relentlessly tough on myself and telling myself that as a man, it is so important that we rise to and beyond the level of success, love, and self-improvement that we can ever imagine. Because I'm gonna be honest, it is a tough world. In this digital age when everyone can make money at their fingertips, how do we become a person of such high internal value that we actually love ourselves? And that brings me back to all the steps that we mentioned today of building up such a rapport in your life that you are proud of yourself, being so unrelentingly disciplined that you keep staying on your goals. And you've heard of all of these before, that if you don't stay disciplined and you don't work your ass off 24/7 for your goals as a man, that you're never gonna be happy. But I'm gonna add one more thing to this, the balance to this, and that is carving out time to spend that time doing the things that you love and doing it with the people that you love. I think we get so caught up in the self-improvement that it genuinely, like, watching self-improvement videos becomes mental masturbation. And sometimes detaching from the device, from everything around you, and just spending time with the people that you love. Everybody has something that they love. You just have to think a little deeper of it. Spending your time doing that, in addition to the hard work, to the purpose, that is the best balance of your life that you're gonna keep refining to the point where you never burn out, to get better and better to a balance that works for you. Maybe it's only 1 hour a day of spending time with people and doing things that you love, and the rest is work. Maybe that works for you. But getting closer to that balance and having the knowledge that you need to do both. You need to be an absolute capable man, unrelenting killer, an absolute beast. You're successful in every pillar of your life: your wealth, your health, your mental health, your love in your life, the people around you, but also doing what you fucking love. And I think when you have that balance, and when I got to that balance, the balance between the purpose and the love, is when I stopped having the thoughts of ending myself. And I just woke up every single day, like, looking out at the sun, I'm just so happy I woke up in the morning. So I just, like, if you're watching, man, like, you can get there. You can, but you only will if you start putting in the work now. So get off your ass, go put on that work. I know you can. How to cope with what you did wrong in the past and how to move past it. This one question was the reason I was depressed for so long. Having things in the past and not being able to get these thoughts out of my head, these voices in your head out, was the reason that I stayed so depressed, the reason that I wanted to end my life so many times. Even though I had a roof over my head, I had people that loved me, was just simply my brain told me that these things that logically aren't that big of a deal, like a girl leaving me or cheating on me, or I could have acted different in front of this girl, or different in this situation, or I shouldn't have yelled at this person, I'm just a fuck up. And then it spirals, and then it goes from I shouldn't have done this to why am I even thinking of this, to I should just love myself more, why can't I love myself more, why am I even mad at myself? And it goes into a big spiral and a snowball effect of just negativity and hating yourself. But then one of the best things I learned is that the brain works like a supercomputer. It can remember and think of 1 billion thoughts. However, the thoughts that you think of most of the time are the most surface layer, the top 10 to 100 thoughts in your brain. Those are the ones that keep repeating because those are the ones that your brain gives the most attention to. If you're having negative thoughts all the time and remembering bad things, it just means that those top 100 thoughts of the brain are the ones that your brain is giving the most attention to. So all you have to do is simply bring more positive, more gratitude thoughts to the top surface and shift your focus to those, and then throughout the day, throughout your life, your brain is going to be attached to more positive thoughts. So the way that I did this, like, genuinely the best practice was gratitude journaling. I was so depressed from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to sleep. All I could think about was all these things I fucked up on, even though there were such minor things that nobody would even think were big problems. I started gratitude journaling, and in 2 weeks, after just writing down every single day 5 things, I am grateful for this, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for the bed that I get to sleep on in the morning, I'm grateful that I'm able to wake up in the morning, I'm grateful for the sunlight outside. And all it was I actively every single day put positive and gratitude thoughts in my head, and it slowly rewired my brain to have the most prominent thoughts at the top be positive ones. The other piece of advice I'd give is, if you're constantly thinking about the past, the other way I got over everything, the one moment where I stopped thinking of things in the past as regrets, was I set one big goal, that goal to bench 4 plates. And I told myself I put all the importance on this goal, as if I did this, all that stuff in the past would be gone. All that struggle and trial and tribulation I've ever faced in my past was for this one moment. And when I accomplished it, it felt like the biggest weight of the world just off my shoulders. Yeah, every single struggle that I ever faced in the past felt like it had a purpose to it now. And I never looked back at a single one with regret, and I just started laughing at all the mistakes I made. All right, boys. Hope you enjoyed that long-ass Q&A. I just love talking about all this self-improvement shit. I'm gonna try to think of different shit we can do for the channel, like reacting to some other videos, to like the red pillars. But let me know down in the comments either more questions for a Q&A if you like this style of video and we can do more. I want to thank all the people that submitted everything, or let me know in the comments a different style of video that you want to see, because I don't want this channel to just be one thing forever. I love every fucking aspect of self-improvement. So send it in, and genuinely I just want to say, like, I am so grateful to be in this position to be able to talk about this. I'm so grateful to the 4,000 people watching. I love you boys. Peace.